I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without China.
All right, well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a meeting to run. I just will mention it. As I said last month, everybody has right to speak, but everybody has a responsibility of respecting those that wish to speak. Okay? And so, if we can, we're gonna conduct our meeting. Then we will go to public comments. If there are those that wish to speak out in the middle of this, you're going to do nothing but slow it down and prevent those that wish to speak for that much longer time. All right? So if you would, we'll get started with the meeting. Roll call, please.
Dale Jernstead. Jim Peak.
Here.
Janet Clark here. Jim Chapman.
Present.
Denise McFarland here. Gary Todd.
Here.
Roger Carroll.
Here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have in front of you the minutes from the March 14th regular meeting and the April 7th special meeting. If you want to take a look at those, please.
Chairman, I would move that we approve the minutes of the March 14th meeting as presented.
I got it marked in there when you came in.
Is there a second to the March 14th meeting minutes?
Second it.
Motion and support, discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carried. April 7th, what minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the April 7th minutes of the special meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Denise?
Balance in the general fund as of April 6th, $524,692.33. Balance in the sewer fund as of April 6th, $602,332.30.
Any questions for the treasurer?
Move that we approve the treasurer's report for the general fund, $524,692.33. And for the sewer fund, $602,332.37. And they're so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and support for accepting the two treasury report. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Mr. McDonald is not able to join us, however, you will find the sewer report in your file. Reading of 26/07/49/630 with a total flow of 92/52/00. Average daily flow 28/861. That is a total of 32 days. Kilowatts for the month is 524, year to date for 1,500. Okay? Is there any questions that anybody needs me to relay to Mr. McDonald?
No, I think it falls right in line with what we've seen in the flow reading.
Okay? At this point then, we have no old business listed. Is there anything from the board that needs to be discussed there? Hearing none, we go to new business. Is there any, there is none listed. Is there anything in the board to bring to the attention? Hearing none, we will go to payables. I take it there are no amendments, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second to pay the bills, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jernstedt.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Clark, yes. Chapman.
Yes.
McFarland.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes. Patty, how many do we have signed up? 38, thank you. All right, and given that it's 38 then, yep, Gary just got out of the hospital and he's not supposed to be outside at all, so this is what's necessary. All right, given that there is less than 60, each speaker will have 3 minutes. The timer is set for 2:45. That's just to alert you that if you would go ahead and summarize your points at that point, and we will get to the next person. We will be going down the list as presented, okay? Anything before we start from the board? Okay? By tradition, the first speaker will be our county commissioner, Mr. Bitter. You're on.
Good evening. Quickly, report from the county commission for this month. We received our evaluation back on the hovercraft, which we sent down to the manufacturer for evaluation. It is their belief that it is beyond repair financially, and even if they did fix it, it would be cost prohibitive, and the electronics that are on it are not supported anymore. So with that, the board took under advisement the purchase of a new one. So we are pursuing that at this time with potential use of some of the marijuana funds money. So at this time, that's under consideration, and hopefully we'll press on with the amount of water and lakes in this area. I think it's imperative that we have one.
It's helped a
So,
lot.
yeah.
Different times. What year is that?
It's over 20 years old.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's had a long service life, but once they got into it, the tub was cracked, and it's just more money, and you still have a 20-plus-year-old piece of equipment when you're done. So that being said, we're pressing on in entertaining a trade-in value for the old one. We hear that back, then we'll know what the total cost will be. But other than that, things seem to be running smoothly, and we're accepting requests for funding until May 1st for the $881,000 of marijuana tax money. So that's it in a nutshell for the month. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Randy. Thanks, Randy. All right, first up is Lydia Ryder-Smith. Ms. Smith, if you'd like to join us.
It's Linda Ryder-Smith.
My apologies, ma'am, I read that wrong.
I
It'll be
live
my
on
fault.
23 Mile Road, Green Township. I've
If
lived
you
there-
would, ma'am, come on up and join us up at the podium, please.
My name is Linda Wright. Is it on?
You just leave it down, this is their
okay.
recording. We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Linda Ryder-Smith. I live on 23 Mile Road, just down the ways. Green Township. I've lived here 43 years. I just want to say that I'm very disappointed in our board. I was actually shocked to hear that it was all voted unanimously. I have one question for Jim Chapman. Did you sign a NDA or other agreement, and when? I'm not a lawyer, but Code of Ethical Conduct 32.95, actions not for personal gain 32.103, truthfulness 32.116, Public input, 32131. I just really don't, I could say more, but I know I only have so much time. I'm asking every board member to resign for many reasons. Lies is the number one. I'm a taxpayer and I do not appreciate being called a professional picketer or a crusader. Roger Carroll, Jim Peak, Dale Jernstadt, Janet Clark, Jim Chapman, Gary Todd, Denise McFarland. I'm very disappointed, and I just never thought that you would want to have China buy land. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Next up is Faye Graves. Ms. Graves, you'd like to come forward, please?
My name is Faye Graves. I live in Morley. I am a Macostic delegate elected by the people of my township. I am also on the District 2 Executive Committee, elected by my delegate peers. There are 20 counties in District 2. I am the only representative for Macostic County. Chuck Thalen mentioned secret materials that will be in these batteries that he cannot disclose. All chemicals must be listed on material safety data sheets and provided. There are no secrets. Hiding behind the ignorance of your audience is not acceptable behavior. We are not fools. We demand the right to know what our area is being exposed to. The question was asked on April 5th, the meeting that we weren't allowed to attend, but it was not fully answered about the transportation of the chemicals that were going to be used, or hazardous materials. Will they be transported by truck, rail, or freighter on the Great Lakes? Both raw material and finished products, how will they be transported? How will the roads be maintained to sustain this new influx of traffic, both the 2,300 employees and the material shipments? I drive 43 miles every day, one way to work in Grand Rapids. My choice. I drive that 4 days a week. This will impact my commute negatively. My husband and I, we shopped for 3 years for a rural home in Macostic County. We researched any new environmental and industrial impacts in the area. This was hidden from our view. This is not what we bought into when we bought our 18 acres. Thank you.
I believe it says Doug Turner. Mr. Turner?
My name is Doug Turner. I'm from Grant, Michigan. And I think we know where 15 of the $715 million is going. It's going toward 170 of the acres that are being sold out of this township. I wonder if Mr. Jernstadt has been offered anything like $90,000 or $95,000 an acre for his property. One of the board members. And to you, Mr. Chapman, how dare you accuse me of using Antifa terrorist activities to scare any of you people or anybody else that comes into the community? That's what you used when you changed the last meeting over to a Zoom meeting. You called me a terrorist, an Antifa tactic using person. I take offense to that. I don't appreciate it from anyone.
Thank you, sir. Brett Mason? Brett?
Right here, Jim.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Brent Mason. I've been a resident of Green Township since I was 2 years old. That was back in 1962 when my father came to town and began operating Pierce Grapple Company. So my roots in this community are deep and they go back a long way. I used to ride the bus with Dale to go to school. So I have a couple of items that I'm concerned about. There have been many, many projects that have taken place in public venues around the nation, and property owners who have found themselves sitting on boards where they potentially profit from the sale of their property usually step down before that comes about. Mr. Jernstad, I'm surprised that you're still on this board. I have nothing against the service that you've done so far, but you are in a position now to profit from this project and to serve the public on this board when you have that possibility is wrong. That's a conflict of interest of the highest. So I would recommend, sir, that you do truly consider that. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm going to go on to my next item. A little bit disappointed when I read through this resolution 47 2023 regarding public comment. I know that prior to this project, you probably didn't receive a lot of public comment in your meetings. But please do not shut down your citizens or constituents. We have things we want to say to you, and we believe you should listen to what we have to say. There shouldn't be a 3-minute limit or a 2-minute limit when it comes to this stuff. There is a bunch of opinions. I personally right now haven't still made up my mind. I don't believe I'm in favor of this plant for a variety of reasons, but I still haven't seen everything I need to see to know what the right answer is for this particular proposal. So in my opinion, I'm still waiting, I'm still gathering information. But your citizens have a right to speak to you. That's what they elected you for, is to listen to their opinions and represent them. Not yourselves, okay? So please do not shut people down when they have something they want to say to you, okay? So that's the third item, or excuse me, the second item. And the third item I have is a quick question, if I may, regarding your property use statutes, because I know you are not a township that has their own zoning, so you rely on Mecosta County. When will this project go before the Mecosta County Planning Commission for whatever look they need to take at it? And when will the request for rezoning of the properties to the west of 220th Avenue be considered by them?
We don't know what it is.
You don't know?
I don't know, I just read.
Okay.
Oh, all right. You and I have long history.
We do, Jim, yes.
All right, and normally we'll answer questions, but that's, one's very simple, is that that's up to the county and they,
Correct.
They post their calendar.
Okay.
So you'll have to watch that.
What led to you folks deciding to pursue your own planning commission? And do you believe that you're going to benefit by doing that yourselves at this point?
I'm sorry, Brian, we'll be here all night if we sit here and keep throwing.
Okay, well, I think those are fair questions. I worked for 6 years for Big Rapids Township as their zoning administrator, so.
Yeah, I know you did. Give me a call, talk to you over the phone,
Okay.
answer as best I can.
I think your folks here would like to know the answer too, so maybe we can do it at your next meeting? Is that something we can put on the agenda?
Friday deals with that, so yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
All right?
thank you very much.
All right, Debbie Todd?
My name is Debbie Todd. I come from Hersey, and I am here to talk to you guys tonight about the fact that at your Friday meeting that you violated the Open Meetings Act. You started up, said you...
It's not being just. Thank you.
So at your meeting on Friday, April 7th, when you went into closed session, you went into closed session, and I went back and listened to what you said. Because of the letter for attorney-client privileged, I couldn't tell if you said it was dated April 2nd, 5th, or 7th, whatever, which is a moot point. But according to the Michigan Open Meetings Act, there are a very limited number of things you can go into closed session for. A policy change is not one of those. You were not going into closed session for collective bargaining, for the sale or purchase of property, for an employee issue. It was because of your attorney-client privilege, which has nothing to do with your policies. You came out of that meeting and took a vote on the resolution to amend public comment. There was no discussion in front of the public going back and forth, which is the way that you're supposed to do it. You don't change policies in closed session. I was at your March meeting. There was no discussion of a change in the public comment policy. There is nothing in your note or in your minutes that speaks to that. So you had to do that in your closed session, which is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And if you get found guilty of a violation of the Open Meetings Act, that is punishable by a fine, and it is a misdemeanor. So I don't know why you did what you did. Public comment, these people elect you to this office, and what you're doing with Gotion affects all of us. It's not going to just be Green Township. It affects all of us. We're all concerned about this, and we all have a right to be. And to try to shut us up, to limit us to 2 minutes is just really, it's not right. Thank you.
Ladina?
Well, a couple of my questions have already been taken, comments have already been taken. So, but I'll go with the ones I still have. So, this board, all of you all are sitting there so stonewalled, you're not really listening. You have a wall up. You're absolutely not representing your people at all.
Yes.
So, have you made an under-the-table deal that's not actually in writing that somebody, Gotion, China, somebody's going to come back on you? And you are scared of that? Is it possible that you've done something that could put you in prison? Because the way you're acting, I'm wondering if that's the case. Jim Chapman, I've known you for a long time. And after all of this, I really hope all of these boys that you've mentored through Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, I really hope that they don't look up to you anymore, because you're just letting Gotion run right all over you, and you're not standing up for our people at all. And I'm very disappointed in you for that. And yeah, I just wanted to say that, because I'm really concerned about where your morals are and where you are. I don't know, who have you promised what? Because it certainly isn't the people here, I don't think, because you just keep shutting us down one little thing at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I apologize. I don't read the writing. I have an address of 6999 something Drive. Who would that be? Well, seeing that nobody will go to the next one. David Moore. Okay, 6999. Is it Stephen Drive, maybe?
There's no name?
It is, but it's not legible.
What number are you?
What number?
What number?
Number 7 on the signature list.
We signed up for number 7.
What was in the
Again? All right. No. Thank you. All right. Not getting a response. Number 8 is David Moore.
David Moore, I live in the township on 19 Mile Road. I guess my question is, the few meetings ago, there was a motion to hire new legal counsel. I think it was a roll call, unanimous vote to hire new legal counsel. And then an emergency meeting was called on Good Friday, April 7th. And I'm under the impression that the taxpayers are paying for that legal counsel, but we were excluded to know what was going on in that meeting. It seems like a misappropriation of funds to personally buy legal counsel with taxpayer money, and I just wondered, are we not privy to what happened there as the taxpayer base? It seems like if you want personal legal counsel, you should have hired them personally and not use taxpayer dollars to pay for that. Thank you.
Deb Magnuson?
I'm Deb Magnuson. I live in Green Township. And I don't know if you remember or not, Mr. Chapman, but in October of last year, you had a question-answer session about Gotion. And I asked you specifically, if the majority of the people did not want this, would you go through with it? And you said yes. After all, we live in a democracy. And we corrected you and said, no, we live in a republic. And we elect officials to do the will of the people. Obviously, you're not doing the will of the majority of the people.
Traitor!
You're doing what you want to do. And that only makes me suspicious and wonder, what's in it for you? Has been already mentioned. What's in it for you? Are you getting a percentage? What's going on? But I'll tell you one thing you did do. You united a bunch of people. And we're growing every day.
Don't interrupt, sir, please. Isaiah Darrell? Is it Darwin or Darwin? I apologize. Okay, I apologize, but slide is the name, sir.
No, my chicken scratches can rival a doctor's. To use a greeting that you guys have probably already gotten, you're going to get familiar with. Good evening, comrades. Okay? You talked about online about an organized professional protesters. Well, you know what? I'm one of the people that actually set that up. So if you call me a professional protester because I was exercising my First Amendment right, then fine, I'll take it. Okay, I'll be a patriot alongside every single one of these people out here, and I will stand up against this. When I was growing up, my mom and my dad had sayings that they used all the time. Okay? Two that my dad used to say all the time was, don't do anything stupid. Okay? And integrity beyond reproach. Obviously, my dad should have talked to you guys. Okay? Signing NDAs, filing for meetings last minute, so that way the public can't necessarily get there. Doing all these things online. Calling names, okay? Doing childish retorts, Mr. Chapman. Calling out other successful business owners, Mr. Chapman. Having conflicts of interest, Dale. Okay? You guys are going to be on notice. All right? She was right. You guys reunited everybody. We are all going to be looking at every single thing you guys do, looking for any ethical violations, any conflicts of interest, and we will be shining a spotlight on those. Okay? Nothing is going to be hidden. We will make sure that it comes to light. Okay? It's also going to make us look into your past. Okay? I'd like to know if you guys are railroading your township this hard with this. I wonder what you guys railroaded back when you were on the job.
Gerald Cooley? Mr. Cooley? Gerald?
Just talk to me, you're not going to speak.
Yeah?
It's
somebody fill in his place?
No, we're going right down to the sign-up list. Lori Brock.
There's still a sign up back here, they're still letting people sign up.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why I asked you a question. Someone said he's not talking to you, he's talking to us. That tells me all I need to know.
Please don't interrupt. You're taking up the lady's time. Go ahead, Mayor.
What I want to say is to all of you, since none of you have done your due diligence to protect Green Township, the citizens and the communities around us and around our area, I will demand this, and I'm putting you all on notice right now. I am here tonight to present the Green Township Board with a formal request for information that I've outlined in the letter that I will be presenting to you. Any large and potentially destabilizing enterprise such as Gotion plant being considered should provide legal assurances to the affected community that little harm or disruption will occur to the essential character of the community or contamination of the environment. These reassurances go far and beyond simple verbal and even written assurances. They need to be scientific studies conducted by experts. This letter outlines my request that we are demanding for these key areas: an environmental impact assessment, an economic impact analysis, a cultural impact analysis, and a tribal resource impact analysis per Section 106 regulations. I would like these provided to me with the data, including copies of studies and findings that demonstrate that these legal requirements have been met. I will be giving you all of this, a copy of these. And I also want to call you and Mr. Gotion or Mr. Phelan out. How dare you, in a public meeting, say that I was not smart and that I bought property in an industrial zone. My farm has and always been in an agricultural zone. For you to get people to come after me in my profession, that's slander, Mr. Chapman, slander. And shame on you. And then for you to go after one of the Allers girls because she worked at a Gotion plant and tried to tell us, or a battery plant, and tried to tell us about it, and then for you to attack her and ask Big Rapids, you are a disgrace. All of you are a disgrace.
Susan Carter.
Really? Yep. That's your professional conduct? That's your professional conduct.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. You're costing the lady time, all right? Miss Parker, if you'd like to go ahead, please. Go ahead, just a second. Let me get a chance to reset this. Go ahead.
I'm Susan Parker. I was born in this county in a farmhouse down the road. I've lived here all my life, and I owned a business in the county for years. Now I live in Morton Township and on Blue Lake. And when I first found out about this, I just wanted more information. I wasn't for it, I wasn't against it. I just wanted to know what impact it's going to have. I tried to attend the April 5th meeting, but of course that we were shut out of that, and you went online. I did put in a question, but I did not get an answer. I'm not a professional Antifa person. I was there for the rally, but I was there to find out information, and we did not get it. All the information that I seem to be getting now is slanted one way, or it's not true, or it's being withheld. So I don't know why that is, but I think everyone here is going to find out why and find out what is happening, because the people in my community at Blue Lake, the Tri-Lakes and Canadian Lakes area are very upset about what's happening here. It's all going to filter down to all of us and all of our families. These people all depended on you to do what was best for them. And the outside areas did too. We expect that you will do best for the community, not for your personal gain or politics or whatever it is that's happening here. But this is going to be looked at, and it's going to be looked at close. And there is a huge swell of support of people who are against this now that you haven't even seen. So I don't know what you're doing, but we certainly don't want a Chinese company here that's going to affect us and lie to us and give us bad information or have you withhold information so that we don't know about it. I don't understand what's holding you back from being honest with all these people. I don't get it. You know, there's got to be something going on here. And the people I know didn't know whether they wanted it or not until they heard how dishonest you're all being. And now they don't want it, and I can tell you that for a fact.
Dominic Pace.
Good evening. I guess I've got 3 minutes. Thank you. I'll take that 3 minutes, I guess, just to say I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that you guys have to sit up here tonight and have your integrity impugned, be called names. My parents taught me that if I had a disagreement with someone, I still had to handle myself in a certain way. And I'm sorry for you guys for that for tonight. I just want you to know that. I also want to thank you. I do want to thank you for following the Open Meetings Act. I want to thank you for going into closed session when you talk with your attorney, because that is the law. And I want to thank you for following the law, not what people's opinions might be of it. So I thank you guys for that. I completely understand that my opinion is the minority opinion in this group. Please understand, though, that this opinion isn't the only opinion out there. I appreciate you guys for listening to everyone, as you're supposed to do, for giving everyone the opportunity to talk, not responding, but taking that information, going back later and making a decision as a board is supposed to. This is not an opportunity for us to discuss with you. This is not an opportunity. We do that at the ballot box when we get to vote for you. So that's a discussion that we can have later if people want to have it. At the ballot box, that's when that discussion happens. But we've all elected you to do a job, to gather information, to represent the people, and to make a decision. And I'm just going to probably take the whole 3 minutes that I have tonight, since everyone else has taken their time. And again, oh, absolutely. You know, one of the things that I love about this country is my freedom of speech, is my freedom to have my own opinion, whether it agrees with everyone else or not. And the fact that this country was founded on the fact that there is a duality of opinion. That's why we have a legislative and an executive branch. That's why we have different political parties, because there's not always the one way to look at a situation. Now, there are other forms of government that say there are only one way to look at a situation. Yes. And I appreciate the fact that we live in a country that even if we have a differing opinion, that opinion still matters as much as everyone else's. Unfortunately for you guys unfortunately have to sit and be browbeat by people that may have a differing opinion than you. As a human, I'm really sorry about that. 15 more seconds, thank you, sir. As a human being, I'm sorry for that. I wish that we treated each other with a little more kindness and decorum. And I hope that you guys will continue to do the job that you're elected to do. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Karen Allers-Winquist, and we were here, me and my sister Chris Dibble, Friday's meeting, and she was here to tell you about, she worked at the Holland battery plant, and you did on social media that she didn't seem to think she knew what she was talking about. When she has worked at Johnson Controls for 22 years, worked at the battery plant for 6 months in HR, went back and forth as Johnson Control owns many of the factories. And you discredited her by saying OSHA had to okay everything that they were. Well, of course they do. She just wanted the people to know that the eyeglasses can melt to your face and the jeans can melt to your body if you don't wear what they tell you to wear, and they have to wear the white hazmat suits in order to work. And you made her sound like she didn't know what she was talking about, and she's worked there and would not allow her children, grandchildren, or anybody near her to work. She got out and went back to the main plant because she didn't want to be around all the chemicals. So I'm just here to stick up for my sister for the comments that you made on social media. Because it is a dangerous chemical plant. That's what I have to say. Sticking up for my sister.
Ross? So I'm here someplace. There we go.
My name is Ross Meads. I live at 21405 180th Avenue in Green Township. I have not lived in Michigan all my life. I chose to live here. And I've been here for the last 40 plus years. I love what this state is. I love what this county is. I love what Green Township is. One of the most successful advertising campaigns Michigan has ever had is Pure Michigan. And I'm concerned that we might be endangering that. I don't have all the details, but I have concerns. I have a right to those concerns, and I have a right for those concerns to be addressed. I mentioned Friday, but I would like to go on public record that as a Green Township resident, I am very thankful for the support of people outside of Green Township and the support they've been to what is going on here. I think it goes to show that even though a group of 7 people is voting on something, it impacts far more than Green Township. It impacts everything between here and the Great Lakes, and it affects the Great Lakes. And so all I ask is, as you guys look at the decisions you're going to make, that you would seriously consider what it is you're voting on and the impact that it could have. We have a group that is concerned, and I am reading it for them as a citizen of Green Township. And I'll be giving you a copy of it, Jim, so that you have it, so just for your records. And I know I'm not going to get answers now, but hopefully in the future we may. The Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, also known as CFIUS, was signed into law by President Gerald Ford in 1975. Since then, there have been numerous foreign business ventures stopped by this committee and the acting president due to the nature of the business and the dangers they present to the national security of the United States. One protection or concern in this law is that a business is restricted with sanctioned foreign countries. I'm wondering whether a CFIUS investigation has been requested by the board and whether a response has been received, and then I'd like to know if those results can be shared with the community. Has Gotion Incorporated shared with you the results of a CFIUS investigation, if they have filed one? There are a lot of concerns that are coming, and I'll give them to you. But again, I do appreciate that the board changed the resolution on the Open Meetings Act. I am disappointed that it took a situation like it did at the last meeting to do that, because I let you know over 4 years ago that that resolution of 20 minutes was in violation with the Open Meetings Act, and we didn't do anything about it. But I do appreciate the fact that you've changed it and that you're allowing everybody who wants to speak the opportunity to speak. So thank you for that.
Hannah?
Hannah Sayes, Big Rapids Township Clerk and Resident. I won't be long as I want your residents to speak, but this will directly impact me, my children, my family, friends, their children, and tonight I would like to be a voice for them. Jim, I watched in person at the last Senate Appropriations meeting where you blatantly lied to the senators. Somehow you, Green Township Supervisor, got to testify on behalf of Gotion. You stated that you had unanimous support from your community, yet you've done no surveys, you've given absolutely zero respect or consideration to the people showing up and nearly screaming the complete opposite, that they don't want this. Now, math wasn't my favorite subject, but is this what the 95% looks like? Where are they? Why are those in favor not showing up? People are here tonight from all over the county, all over the state, that don't want this. I've sat back and I've watched as you've publicly disrespected all of Big Rapids Township. May I remind you, a place you are employed with. You've misrepresented this entire community. I certainly shouldn't need to correct you tonight, as this meeting place is full of people trying to correct your wrongdoings, but I will be brief and remind you that these people standing here, they are your boss. So whatever promises you've been made, from people at Gotion, whatever financial gains are on the line, that's for you. None of that will matter. The bottom line is these people voted you in. All of you. They voted you in. And they are the same people who can make sure that you don't ever win an election again. Respect is earned.
Bruce Baker?
I'd like my following statement to be included in the record and minutes of today's meeting. Okay. When township board members take their oath of office, they agree to uphold a number of fiduciary duties, including the duty of care. This duty requires each board member to be knowledgeable of the matters coming to a vote and to not simply follow another board member or the supervisor in their voting. The duty of care requirement, in my mind, is like a doctor who has an obligation to do no harm. The Green Township board members need to also do no harm. Hundreds of residents are expressing their concerns that the Gotion plant will bring harm to themselves and their families. Your duty is to protect and save our community residents from harm. By the way, malpractice isn't just for doctors. Look up the definition. Malpractice applies to doctors, lawyers, and public officials. It's time for the Green Township board members to follow their fiduciary responsibilities, to start voting no, and to start protecting and caring for the residents.
Patty Downey?
My name is Patty Downey. I'm from Big Rapids Township, and I came to the meeting that immediately went into closed session on Friday, and unbeknownst to the 50 people that were sitting there waiting, none of us saw Mr. Chapman leave a little black recording device, or what looked like a recording device, on the table. And so when they came back from closed session, I believe it was Joe Bayshaw, asked Mr. Chapman if he was recording, and he denied it. Then he asked Janet Clark if she knew if he was recording, she said she didn't know. But I just would like to read you something from Michigan compiled laws. 750, section 539C. Any person who is present or who is not present during a private conversation and who willfully uses any device to eavesdrop upon the conversation without the consent of all parties thereto, or who knowingly aids, employs, or procures another person to do the same in violation of this section is guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment in a state prison for not more than 2 years, or by a fine of not more than $2,000, or both. So I'm happy to see our law enforcement officers here so they can see what we have sitting up here. Next, my question that I sent in to Mr. Chapman did not get asked at the April 5th virtual information center. So I'd like to just read that, because I think all of us have heard Chuck Thalen and Jim Chapman say repeatedly that Volkswagen owns 25 or 26% of Gotion. So my question was, is it true that Volkswagen China has irrevocably given up their voting rights to the founding shareholders of Gotion, Li Chen and Li Zhen? And I didn't get that question answered, but it's okay because I know the answer. In January's shareholder meeting, January of 2023, that's exactly what happened. So when they tell you that VW owns 25%, maybe they own some shares of stock, but they have no control and no voting right. Thank you.
Penny Curry?
Good evening, fellow patriots. I'm setting my own clock, thank you very much. This board passed a resolution. It stated, "We will make every effort to work in the interest of our constituents." That was your resolution when you decided that you were going to support Gotion 100%. I don't see that you're acting in your interest of your best for your constituents. Why don't you tell that to the lady who's lived here for 58 years? Look her in the eye, who recently lost her husband. She planned to live out the rest of her years in their family home. She now is displaced. She has to move. Tell it to the mom and pop shops who are now looking to relocate because they no longer want to live here. Or people who have built their dream homes and then now have been listed for sale. Many more people are looking to relocate because of you people. You are hurting this community. I don't even know why you don't admit it. As one elected official to another, I'm gravely disappointed in all of you. That is why I have come here tonight, to give you a very rare opportunity, and I hope you see it as an opportunity. Gotion is actively pursuing purchasing property from your friends, from your neighbors, and from your residents. Vile threats have been made to them. It's a shame. It just makes me sick. They're telling them that their property will be worthless if you don't take this deal. We'll take your road frontage. We'll build up to your property lines. We'll subject you to our noise, our traffic, our lights, our pollution, giving them as little as 4 hours to make this decision that's going to affect their lives for the rest of their lives. This is on your shoulders.
Who's the terrorist?
Sometimes I understand that they give them 4 hours to make this decision. 4 hours to make a life-changing decision. And then they make them sign a 12-year gag order, or 12-month gag order, where they cannot tell anyone what they have just witnessed. This is a notification of direct participation. By supporting Gotion, you are actively supporting their actions. Consider this a notification of direct participation of injustice to your residents. Please note, this is an illegal coercion, and it is illegal. There is something very sinister going on here, and I'm here to tell you, this group behind me, all of these people, all of them, except for maybe that one guy over there, they are not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Let me finish. Let me summarize.
No, you're out of time.
They're not going to stop until they uncover every lie, every deception, every legal, every web, every immoral action. Yes, have me physically removed. I guarantee we will expose all of your corruption, every one of you. You will be held accountable. Mark my words. Dale, you can snicker, you can throw the papers under your desk, but you know what? We all know what you are.
Oh, how you follow that? So, I need this to be on record and in the minutes. We need to know, where is the exemption from the U.S. Customs and Security under the UYGHR, spelled UYGHUR, Forced Labor Prevention Act, UFLPA, from Gotion? And then look around. Do you really want to avoid all these people the rest of your life? Every time you go to the store? Look, you need to look these people in the eye. You're better than that. Thank you.
Lois, I believe it's Swan.
I just want to talk from the side of the employers here who are really struggling to be able to get people to come in and work. There are so many people who are looking a lot of small places, and they're looking for people. And you bring in a company like this, and they can offer a few dollars more. What's going to happen to all these people? They've just been through the last few years. They don't have much money left to hold on. And I think you're really doing them a disfavor bringing this on. You know, in another time, having these jobs could be a good thing, but right now, so many businesses are really struggling to make it. So I just wanted to give that. And then about the China, the human rights issues there, and how we don't want to partner with people who believe the things that they believe. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Denise Jengloff, I apologize for the last name there, and I'll let you do it better job than I.
Putting this up so you can read it clearly. Don't start my time yet. Don't start yet. If you would move this along a little faster by announcing 2 names, then the next speaker can be ready and it'll move along.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, thank you. So what part of no don't you understand? Are there any veterans here? Any veterans here? My family members fought communism, and you're bringing it right here to your back door. Okay? I've noticed you're all old.
I'm assuming you don't have any children and you don't have any grandchildren that are going to inherit this land, this polluted, filthy land that you leave with your secret ingredients that flow downriver and into our Great Lakes. Huh? Here's another new word for you. Recall. Recall every one of you. Thank you. Okay, you're all communists and you've all been bought. And I'd like to know how much y'all think you're gonna get from this. And I hope that money is real comforting in the grave. Okay?
Okay, Tanya, right?
Hi, my name is Tanya Wright. I am a resident here on 21900 22 Mile Road. I grew up here my whole life. And what's very disappointing to me, if I may say, I voted for all of you. And Dale Jernstead, I've known you for a long time. You make not only your constituents, who are you? What are you? You were a farmer. That's what you grew up doing. And now, and Mr. Chapman, I called you, right? We had that conversation. Yes, no, maybe so?
I may have, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we did, y'all. And if I could get all of you, please, close your eyes just for a second and humor me. Shut your eyes. I would like to see a raise of hands that were told about this in the Green Chowder Township, that this manufacturing was coming to your neighborhood. Show of hands. Or scream.
Nobody.
Well, raise your hands.
You're not talking to them, man. You're talking
So, anyways, I asked Mr. Chapman if he signed a DNA. He said no, got hostile, angry, and I said, okay, but what did you do? Can I ask you? And he's like, sure, why not? And it was, I asked Jim if somebody asked him if he could keep something under his hat. Jim's response was, he said he could and he did. I said, well, did you? He said, yes, I did. So I went on to Dale Jernstead. I said, I heard a rumor that Mr. Jernsted's getting over $400,000. You, Mr. Chapman, told me that he's making deals with them on selling some property. And I said, then why didn't he step down? Why didn't you remove him? And you said, why? What is he doing wrong? That is what you said. Then you told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And you slammed that phone down right in my gracious ear. And the thing is our greater Great Lakes don't just stay here. Y'all, do you not understand that? It runs all the way up and all the way down. And y'all should be ashamed. I'm absolutely disgusted with each and every one of you. And I shouldn't have voted for anybody, especially you.
Thank you for your time, man. Kate, Carol? Kate?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello, I'm a resident of Big Rapids Township. I do run a business in Green Township. I just want to tell all of you how disappointed I am with you. This has become an authoritarian board where you do not listen to your constituents or your neighbors. There's more than one side to this Gotion battery plant, and it's possible it could bring in thousands of jobs, but it is definitely going to affect our environment. And you never acknowledge that, and in fact just say that we're fear mongers and we're unenlightened and we're stupid. There's a lot of people who know that this will affect the environment and it's important to us. And you don't seem to ever care about that. And then you pass unanimously resolutions to bring in cops if we disturb the peace during public comments. When has that ever happened? That you would have to put that in a resolution that a cop would come. That's in your last resolution you just passed. At the March 14th meeting, this place was packed and nobody disturbed the peace until you, I believe unanimously, although we don't know because there was no roll call, decided that we would not be able to speak anymore, even though that's our right. I don't know if all 6 of you are terrible people or not, but you have become terrible people.
They are.
You don't listen to your constituents. People get up here and tell you how this adversely affects their lives, and there's not one of you that ever has any emotion or caring on your faces. Nobody registers any empathy for your constituents. Maybe an occasional smirk.
Yes. Right.
But you were brought to this job to protect your constituents that you're not doing, and I don't know how you sleep at night.
Right.
That's a duplicate. John Holsworth.
My name's John Holsworth. I'm from Green Township. I'm kind of disappointed hearing from Representative Fox in the meeting how a firearm was brought into a meeting with the representatives. Kind of takes me back some history that I couldn't find it online. Back when City of Big Rapids decided to do a annexation, then there was a detachment by Big Rapids Township, and then I led a recall effort. Well, we had a police chief. He was being interviewed by Dave Barber, and he decided to take a service revolver and put it on the desk. Maybe he thought because he was a former FBI agent that that's okay. It's not. That really gets me going. But anyways, I have some remarks here that I heard this weekend from Mike Gallagher. He's a representative from Wisconsin. He's the chair of the House Select Committee on China. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee and the House Intelligence Committee. He was asked by Sean Duffy about how the Chinese are using our norms and laws to protest, and China's paying up to $400 per protester, and we're hearing that we're professional protesters and Antifas and stuff like that when this was at the Reagan Center. So anyways, they did that to disrupt the meeting and stuff. Mr. Gallagher responded to Mr. Duffy. He said that it was a microcosm of the Chinese United Front work. Basically, they bribe people on American soil to do their bidding. We see this in industry after industry. We see it in higher education. We see it in Wall Street. We see it in a variety of domestic institutions that have been corrupted by the CCP and by economic incentives. We've been, in many cases, been addicted to the access to the Chinese market. And as I look at it, the only weapon that I think anyone would do is what John Pierpont said back in the Civil War. He's, in his poem, The Ballad, he said, "A weapon that comes down as still as snowflakes fall upon the sod, but executes a free man's will as lightning does the will of God. And from its force, nor doors nor locks can shield you, 'tis a ballot box. Black as your deeds shall be the balls that from the box shall pour like hail, and when the storm upon you falls, how your craven cheeks will turn pale. For at its coming, though you might laugh, 'twill be sweep you from your hall like chaff." And in closing, when things really get to me, I write songs on it. So I say, everybody's doing the brand new chant now. Come on, baby, say no to Gotion. We care about our environment, it's causing commotion. Come on, baby, say no to Gotion. Thank you.
I'm Joe Bayshaw, Big Rapids Township. Thanks for letting us speak. I actually want to address the board individually. And, pardon? I would like to address the board individually. I have 2 questions. Maybe the one has 2 parts. I'll start with Roger. Roger, would you be for a public referendum on the Gotion project? And my next, why not? What, pardon? You're not going to answer why not?
This is not an exchange. This is for you to make a statement, Joe. You're welcome to do so.
No. In the Open Meetings Act, you can ask questions during comment periods, and you can address every board member.
Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Pardon?
No, keep going.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't say it.
Mr. McFarland, same question. Would you be willing to work towards a public referendum on this Gotion project? And why not? Okay. I don't think it's fair to ask Dale because he's rescinded himself in vote, so I won't do that. I don't think it'd be fair to Dale in this case. Jim, same question.
No comment. I'm not going to make a comment on any of these until we have all the facts.
Oh,
You
that's,
understand?
thank you. No, hey, that's not fair, please. I do appreciate the why. Janet, would you be open-minded and willing to have a public vote on this referendum?
No comment.
I'm sorry, what? Please? I didn't hear you, Janet.
No comment.
That's a no, Joe.
That's a no.
That's a no.
Well, no, she has her right. Jim, now you. Would you be willing, as a board member and supervisor, be willing to help promote a public vote to represent your constituents?
Wow. With a no, Joe. Wow.
No, he hasn't, he said no comment. Now my second part, why not?
No comment, Joe, but I'll give you some extra time. Because
Okay.
everybody was interested.
Just one more comment. My mother just turned 100 years old. She asked a question, and I appreciate you taking the questions at that virtual meeting, correct? And she asked me to ask a question. It wasn't asked, but she watches the news and she reads the paper every day, every night, 100 years old. And one night we take care of turns, my brother and sisters, of watching her. And she was sitting there when they talked about, it was Channel 4, the Gotion China plant. And she's sitting there listening, and then the national news had a thing on it too. And she asked me, she goes, why would we want them communist in our country? Amen. Your dad has served, you and your brother have served, all your cousins have served our nation, and why would they want me? And I couldn't answer her. I didn't say no comment or nothing like that. I said.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Rhonda Lang?
Good evening.
First, I want to thank you guys because you are really helping me get over my fear of public speaking. So, thank you. I will give you a thank you for that. Also, I hope you noticed my address was not on the sign-up sheet. I do not give consent to have my address used. And I just want to do a little bit of schooling just for a minute. We have Attorney General Opinion number 5183 as it regards to the Open Meetings Act. It goes through and it says the rules must be reasonable, flexible, and designed to encourage public expression and not discourage or prohibit it. I have to say that with the rhetoric that's been put in the papers regarding certain members of this community by you, Mr. Chapman, having us put our address is nothing more than doxing, in my opinion. And there's also another one that pertains to me particular, 18 USC subsection subsection 119 and 18 USC subsection 2261A, and that is regards to doxing and also regards to doxing a public official. So I will not be giving my address, and I do hope that you go back and fix your Open Meeting Act papers and get rid of that part. Everything else is legal per the Open Meetings Act. I also have to disagree with the gentleman that said that you didn't break the Open Meetings Act, because we all know on March 14th you did. You didn't allow everybody to give public comment, and then you went to the newspaper and said it was because we were over capacity and because we were unruly, and that was a blatant lie. We might have been over capacity, but you could have done what you're doing tonight, and nobody was unruly until you ended public comment. And then they were calling for order, point of order, which, if you know Robert's rules, is to let you know there's an issue. With that said, I just wanted to school you just a little bit again on the Open Meetings Act. And then to let you know, my surveying, my canvassing still isn't done, so rack up another 10 no's, okay? And I'm gonna leave it for other people because it's getting late, and leave it at that. But we're not done canvassing, and your community doesn't want this. And I appreciate each and every one of these community members that care about their community.
Jason, is it Cruz? Cruz, thank you.
Well, board and everybody here, I come to you as a business owner in the area.
You're talking to us, sir, not
Oh, okay.
to thank you.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody's still here. So I come here as a business owner and put my blood, sweat, and tears in this area. Relocated to this area a few years back, so I'm a transplant. My neighbor's a transplant. We both have very young kids, very young families. I don't think anything that was thought on any of this Gotion stuff that was taken into account. And that's just my personal opinion, but as the time goes on and progresses and how secretive this thing has been, it becomes evident. Now, I would like to have said a few other things, but a lot of people here already stole my thunder. And so, I mean, my phone's been blowing up on people from the west side of the state to the east side of the state, and all eyes are on us here in this little community, which is amazing to me. I never thought that I would ever come to this area and have to deal with this garbage. I came, and I'm not going to get unruly here or anything like that, but I really want everybody to understand exactly what I'm talking about. I come from a very industrial area, and I know what these things can do to our area. And all promises can be made. And before you know it, we have a brown area. We have pollution that we can't get out of our ground. I got to sell my place off. You got to sell your place off. And then what we got? We got a garbage. Why do we want to do that to this area? This area is pure. It's beautiful. That's why we moved here, and I think the board would agree with that also. I am all for economic development. All right? I want the best for our community. I want our community to grow. I wouldn't have started a business here if I didn't. But the problem is we have to take a very genuine look at what we bring into this community for its future. I am selfish. I really don't care about the people that live down in Grand Rapids, in Detroit. I've lived there. in both places, or who's living overseas. I care about our community and our country. I had a text that came in today. I just want to share it. I'm not here to beat anybody up right now, just make a couple statements. But as our conversation went through, it came down to this. And it says, but this is a big story. This is what the guy is saying to me. Of course it is. We all know that. Everybody I talk to. The Chinese government requires all companies it invests in to commit to Communist Party in case of conflict. Too bad they already own next year in my town of Saginaw. Think about that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jerry Aldrich? Okay, sir.
Jerry Aldrich from Big Rapids Township. I'm very glad our township turned this down, put it on hold, the back burners. And I am very much against it. I'd like to ask anyone here to stand up who is against this project. Please stand up. Who is against this? Now, would you please stand up with your constituents? Would you please support us? I got 3 minutes. You can stand up anytime. The people of your township do not want this. You people really don't care about your community, do you? You don't. No, they're not. They can't stand it. How can you live in this township if you're not represented? How? I don't understand. No one will stand up, will they? I'm glad our township stood up. They listened. They sent flyers to everyone. And you refuse. What is the big plan? No one's going to stand up. You guys have a great board in Green Township.
I apologize again, but I believe it's Janice Bittenbund. Is that correct? Okay, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Jan Bittenbender. I live right down the road. I love my home. Do you love your home? Home to me is a haven to go home to when the world's out there, and home, there's some peace a little bit. I love my home. I never thought that I'd ever speak in public, but I got thrown on a camera. I'm pretty passionate about this because I love my home. And I hate dishonesty and lies. And what I don't get is we're your neighbors, right? We're neighbors. We're all neighbors. Would you trust me? Maybe just for the fact of being a neighbor, your own countrymen. Then you have these foreign entities that they're saying, well, this isn't true, this isn't true. They're lying. And where's the truth in all this? The good Lord said the truth will set you free. So, I just want to know who's telling the truth. Is it us? Or is it somebody, this foreign country, clear across the world, that has been against us for centuries, maybe? Who knows? I just happened to come across a small little tidbit article. It might be hearsay, but okay, I came to a meeting, back in December, just to get the rhetoric of what's going on here because I couldn't believe what I had heard. I thought, no, it never happened here in America. No. There was a little article, a young woman called Jill Shem, and she was from TechNode. But funny thing, she wrote this article back in October 8th of 2022. And she was in Shanghai, a Shanghai reporter. And she said that Chinese Gotion, back then, will build a plant in Big Rapids, Michigan. That was October. But I came to this meeting in December, and I'm like, but funny thing, I just came upon this little tidbit today. Will build, not maybe, not possibly, not considering, but the Chinese Gotion, China Gotion, will build in Big Rapids, Michigan.
Patty, you got a second sheet? Jeff Thorne?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Greenship Township Board. My name is Jeff Thorne. I live on New Cost Avenue in Green Township. I tell you more about how long I've been here and my kids and everything, but I know by what's been said and looking at you that you really don't give a rip, okay? Okay? Because you guys, I don't know when or where or how, but you know, you're heartless. Okay? Flat out. Somewhere at some point, okay? You're not communist. I don't believe that. You think you're venture capitalist somehow, and then you found this Gotion golden nuggets or something, or whatever it's taken, but I prepared a statement so I don't ramble on. When people in power brag about economic growth, their first concern must always be its impact on existing citizens. They are to provide full disclosure to every resident impacted and complete transparency in every aspect of this project, in this case, the Elephant Project. A project that may completely upend our community, our township, our city, our county, and our state, and even beyond. This is a microcosm, do you not understand, of what is happening throughout the state and through our country, to a federal level of laws being put on the books to prevent Chinese citizens, corporations from stop buying property in our country, farmland, etc., etc. Businesses. Jim, 50-some businesses in Michigan like that are Chinese or whatever. You kind of bragged about that. The Green Township Board, you folks here, have not been transparent. Instead, you've deliberately misled, chosen secrecy, shady dealings, political theater in order to create the pretense that you care about this community at large. When it's very clear that you, from the start, intentionally tried to railroad this project past us. I'm interested that it's called the Elephant Project, because don't we, when we say when nobody wants to talk about the big family, you know, Uncle George, sorry if there's George here, if somebody's named George. You know, he comes to the family gatherings, nobody wants to only talk about the elephant in the room, right? We all know it's there. And you guys don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about the elephant project, and that creates distrust. Dom, you talked about trust. I understand. He has a right of opinion, okay, to share that. But trust is earned. It's not given. We voted you in and trusted you, and you have abandoned that trust. A project sponsored no less by our national enemies and doggone it, paid for by our own tax dollars. I'll land the plane, Jim. You don't have to tell me. It's simply not right. We counted on you, our elected officials, to look out for us, but instead you have all chosen to completely betray us. So therefore, we will be transparent with you here tonight. A full recall is going to be called on individuals, one or all of you, and you are going to be replaced. Either by recall or by the next election cycle, you will be gone. Enjoy your seats, enjoy your little power play at your chair, enjoy your Gotion nuggets or whatever is going on. Okay, but I'm putting together a replacement team for Green Township residents to serve on the board, and we'll be working on that and preparing that for upcoming election or as the recall proceeds. Thank you very much.
Kathy Fleming.
I'm sure you're probably sick of seeing some of our faces, but this is a passionate thing. You know, in the Bible it says that God sent a powerful delusion. And this is what this feels like. I was reading in my devotions the last couple days about a blind man that was healed by Jesus, put mud on his eyes, told him to go wash over there, and then he could see. But then the Pharisees, they called him in. They said, well, you were blind and now you can see. How that happened? And he said, a prophet came by and told me to put mud on my eyes and I go wash over there and I could see. They didn't believe him. He was speaking the truth. And they didn't believe him. They even called his parents in. Hey! And he said, well, what we can tell you is when he was born, he was blind. He's old enough. Ask him. So they brought him back in. He says, I'm telling you, the guy, Jesus, healed me. I feels a little like that. And I thought, why is this my devotion the last couple days? The truth will come out. I'm a little surprised. You have time to back up on this. You said it's not a done deal. Is that true? Is that true? I was going to say this is a perfect example. We had one guy who's for it in this particular area, and a whole bunch that aren't. That was just like our canvassing. This is the truth. We don't want it. There's rumors, Jim, that with the Planning Commission, you're going to be maybe getting a big job or a big building. Is that true? You know, I wonder where these questions will be answered. Are they going to be on your website? And is somebody taking a note of these questions there? And they're going to say, hey, this is the question, here's the answer. When can we see that? Pete Hoekstra put out a whole letter about the FBI and the dangers of China, the CCP. This company, Thelen said, oh, there's no communist committee set up now. But what is it going to do when the door is open, when we're at war with China? This is what we're worried about. Let's say everybody's entitled to an opinion. And guess what China's is? They don't like us. They don't like us. That's their opinion. They're not our friends. And I'm sorry, but they're absolutely, I don't know what research. You keep saying it's not China, a communist party. But it is. And if they bring nationals here to train, as we've been told, that is a possibility. Do you know a Chinese citizen, they're not autonomous. When they come here and then they go back, they have to be, you know, they're questioned. They could, hey, say you talk to us or we might hurt grandma. Listen, I am not wanting to be so strongly mean. However, I will say, you have time to back up on this. Were you wined and dined by the right place? Who's been whispering in your ear? Are you like the Pharisees, where you are blinded? And I ask you to go home and I say, dear God,
please open the eyes of the people. And I thank you for all the patriots here. I thank you for America. And I thank you for all those who are willing to speak when they're not comfortable to speak. Thank you.
I had somewhat of a prepared speech that I was going to give, but it's kind of changed now after hearing everybody else be able to touch on a lot of the subjects. My concern is the chemicals that are here. Also, very from the beginning, since people want to thank you for doing your job is to listen to us and what we would like. Also, an oath was taken to do no harm. This factory could and will do harm to our community. Ran on 100% regulations. It is adding pollution to our area, to our people, to our environment, period. The potential risk that you are allowing Felon, the spokesperson, to downplay and to diminish and act as if there is no environmental risk is horrendously wrong. Wrong. How these are made, child slavery, I don't know how God feels about that one, but I know how I feel about it, and it should be stopped there. We should not be backing a faulty, horrendous product to begin with. Where the mining, the refining, the testing, the transportation, the manufacturing, the completed product themselves, down to the recycling for these batteries, nothing is prepared for. Nothing is done right. Nothing is safe. And you guys want to bypass it all and push it on to us. And guess what? Saying that you can move, there's people and things that you cannot attach a price tag to. I want you to understand that. That's my health, that's my environment, and that is my home. My home, my land, my grandfather built the home. Don't nobody want to sell that. Do you understand that? No, you don't, because you're filthy. You like money. And that's all I got to say. No more.
Harry King.
How can you follow the last two? I'm a Buckeye. I moved here in '93. I moved to the enemy territory up here with all the Spartans and Wolverines. And I found this great place to have a great time with my grandkids. And we built a little camp and we had more fun, 30 people for a week every summer up here. And I don't want these things to take place here. What I wanted to talk about, you can see I had 2 pages of lists, but the one I want to talk about is we're going through a change in our country right now. It's a AI thing, artificial intelligence. And I want to use the example of a communist Chinese plant that was put in Grand Rapids. I think it's called Glass Tech or Glass Dye or something like that.
Harry, you're talking to us, okay?
No, I'm talking to them too, because this is coming down. It's happening so fast. We give them 30 years or whatever free taxes. That's no big deal. We'll never see. I never saw a risk reward study done that we as a community to look at the risks and the rewards, and we could start to think about it and vote on it. That company I mentioned in Grand Rapids employed lots of people for 2 or 3 years. And now when you drive by, all it is AI with robotics and only a few people running it. So they may get some jobs here and they may make some money here and put it in our community. But AI is going to change everything for all of us in the next 10, 15 years, and it's big. And so something like this could be just an elephant, as Jeff said. And I think it's wrong. We have a beautiful place here. Why do we want to mess with it?
Right. Matt Mazinski. Matt? Here. Okay.
Good evening, corrupted board and my fellow patriots. I took an oath, Jim. Back in 2004, I raised my hand and put my hand over my heart and swore to defend this nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Now it seems like China, the foreign enemy, is coming in, and it's domestic that's letting them in. Why are you letting them in? This is ridiculous. You swore an oath too, did you not? To uphold the Constitution, to protect the people. You're doing the exact opposite. You should feel ashamed. You should feel sick to your stomach for what you're doing. This is an absolute disgrace, a mockery of the American dream. You guys are the ones making out with all the money, but we're the ones stuck with the chemicals. Do you know your moral compasses are...
Please don't interrupt him.
Your moral compasses are so jacked up, I gotta wonder how the heck you guys even wake up in the morning. Let's see if your geographical compasses are screwed up. I live due east of that factory where it's going in, due east of your land. When that thing goes off, who's gonna be sucking on them toxic fumes? I'll tell you who, my 2 little girls. My 2 daughters are gonna be sucking on them toxic fumes. That's disgusting. Why are you people allowed to do this? I hope to God we can get each and every one of you get straight out of there. And I got something for you too. Your farm is so screwed up that my daughter, every time we go by, says, "Dad, can we go in there and clean that plastic up?" That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves. It is not too late to do the right thing. And one more thing, Jim. That is true, you were carrying your firearm, weren't you? Weren't you? If you feel the need to carry a gun to protect yourself from your constituents, maybe you're doing something wrong.
Jessica Quick, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that name right. It looks like K-W-E. Thank you, ma'am.
I am the Lorax and I speak for the trees. But you continue to cut as fast as you please. Actually, I'm not going to humor everybody with that story, but if you guys haven't read it, you need to. If you have grandchildren, make sure you go read it to them. It highlights what industrial does to rural areas. It highlights the toxins and how it pushes out the animals and the wildlife. It was really quite interesting to me at the last meeting, Mr. Chapman, where you only gave us 20 minutes to speak. And then even after the citizens reminded you that we are, as the citizens, have the right to speak during public comment time, you still continued to shut me down. That was me. And I did take that offensive. Because no, I'm not from 5 miles away. I'm actually from 30 miles away. But interesting fact, so yes, I am an outsider. Interesting fact, half a mile from my house is Mecosta County border. So as much as this impacts the people that will have it in their backyard, everybody in Michigan will be impacted by this. The end of the Lorax, it goes, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Unless someone like you, I'm sorry, I'm calling a blank here, but you guys get what I'm saying. Nothing's going to get better unless people actually stand up and do what's right. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. This is insane and really disheartening. And quite frankly, Michigan townships are 6 mile by 6 mile radius. See these people standing here? These are your neighbors. These are the people that you have to deal with every single day. Okay? I want you guys to really understand that and comprehend what you are doing to the community here. What you are bringing to the community members. Like the other people that have spoke, they don't want to be pushed out of their houses. They don't want a toxic factory in their backyard or in the state of Michigan at all, because it's kind of common sense. You know, if there's some type of disaster, where does that go? Okay, once they pollute the land, once they pollute the water, once they pollute our food, we have nowhere to go. And if you guys haven't been paying attention worldwide, America, we're not really up there anymore. You know, we're kind of down here. In fact, we're the laughing stock. Okay, you guys understand that America is the laughingstock, and they are getting off on the fact that you guys are okay with Communist Party coming to our backyard. It is shameful, and I really pray that the community members here get every single one of you recalled.
Jeremy? Yeah, okay.
So I got to finish that line. The Lorex line is, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Each and every one of you have a unique opportunity that you'll never have again, that probably nobody who is set in your position has ever had. You've never been approached with a business deal this big as Gotion, I'm assuming. Most communities this size never have and never will. But with that, this could be a great project, a great opportunity for the right community, for a hurting community that needs the jobs, that needs the money. But I don't get that feeling here. This can be a terrible project for a community that doesn't want it. And as you can see, what in the last few months it has ripped your community apart. I don't know if you guys have lost friends, family, how much of an issue this is. My wife and I are from Montcalm County. We've spent the last 2 years fighting off wind turbines, a project that consisted of 50,000 acres. It was $300 million. It covered 11 townships, and it was the same thing. They snuck it in. They told nobody about it until it was what they considered a done deal. And as soon as it went public, the people united. And this is a great thing to see, but it sucks that it takes something so terrible to really unite us. But, you know, it happens. And in Montcalm County, the people united. The project's going to fail. Between that, though, out of the 11 townships, 5 of those townships have had their boards replaced. So that's what it takes, is you need a recall. And with that, with the people, you know, that's the time to sit here and try to convince them, I don't think is going to do anything. And that is going to be your option, is recall. You're going to be on a deadline here too, because I assume some of the county level officials are going to be just as corrupted. And I don't want to sit here calling you corrupted, but without transparency, that nobody else has anything other to assume is corruption. And that's sad to see. So you 6 and the missing 7th, this time is going to be probably the biggest thing that will ever happen in your lives. And you guys are going to go down as being hated by your community, or you're going to go down as being heroes. So hopefully enough of you will actually stand up and change your minds on this. So obviously it doesn't look like it's the people trying to mob rule you, but just stand up. The thought that the community wants this is not right. If you didn't know the community doesn't want this, you'd put out surveys. The fact that you're not trying to get input from the community expresses that it's a done deal and you want to get your money. And with that said, I hope you guys have a large legal budget. I heard this story on Glenn Beck today, and they're collecting funds, and that will end up in lawsuits before or after the recall. So with that, good luck, Green Township, with your recalls.
Rod Magnuson.
You know, it makes me sick every time you stand up and you pledge allegiance to that flag. You guys are hypocrites. You guys should put the Chinese flag up there. Every one of you guys are corrupt. And every one of you guys lie. Jim, you're the biggest liar of all. Every time you open your mouth, you lie. I've heard lie after lie after lie from you. All you guys are like zombies sitting there. You don't care. This guy shouldn't even be on the staff on this. You've got a conflict of interest. You guys are corrupt, and you're a coward, Jim. You're nothing but a coward. You vote on everything. You vote on the library, you vote on everything, but you won't take a vote here. And Clark here, well, we're not going to vote. You guys are cowards. Vote. You told us that 94% of the people approve. Well, you know what? We convinced Deb, my wife, and I went down to all the streets. 94% don't want it here, but you don't care. Look at you. Why, she's right. You guys don't give a damn. You know what? I'm not as nice as Kathy. I think about Jesus when he went in the synagogue and flipped the tables over. You guys are nothing but hypocrites. You go, don't care about this place. You know what? And every one of you guys, look at that guy smug. You're so smug. How much money are you getting? I bet you every one of you guys are getting money from the communists. Because you guys, as soon as you get recalled, you guys will be gone. You don't care about this community. And you're all smug. Look how smug you guys are. Every one of you guys, look at him smug. You shouldn't be honest. How can you let him on here? It's a conflict of interest. Why are you doing that, Chapman? Why?
Do the right thing.
They can't do it. You have no conscience. You guys are hypocrites and liars.
He should have just removed
We want. Look at these. How many people here got a phone call or survey? None of them. But you lied. You said 94%. You told my wife 94% of the people. What's wrong? Show us. Let's see your emails, Chapman. Let's see them. You know why? Look at, they're smug. Look at Janet. Look at, she's taking a, you guys are smug. You guys want to take a vote. You know why you don't want to take a vote? Because you know you will go down. You guys are nothing. You take an oath to protect this country and to protect against foreigners. You know darn well they're Chinese communists. It's in their Article 9. You know that. But you still continue to bring them in. China's our number one enemy. Number one, Chapman, you don't care, do you? You got that smug look on your face. All of you guys. Look at this guy here, Jurstead. You guys are all smug. When you guys recall when you guys gonna go down to Florida to live, you guys are a bunch of, you make me sick. You should get a communist flag up there and salute that. Because you know darn well it's a communist country. You guys are hypocrites.
Bonnie Wilson.
I'm Bonnie Wilson, but I am a recovering bus driver, so I know you can hear me. Don't worry about it. I have lived here for 12 years. In 12 years, I have been lied to multiple times. And we can talk about them, but nobody gives 2 cents. Okay? My friend back here brought up the Lorax. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. And the trees say, get on your knees and apologize. Because we live here. You live here. My dog, my child who has had 4 open heart surgeries lives here. This is going to poison my baby's water. I'm a suicide person. I have depression. I'm a shut-in. I'm your constituency, or whatever the hell it's called. I can't even talk to the outside world because I live in the ditch on the river, which is the most beautiful place in the world. But I can't share it. I can't have a business there because I can't even call out for help when my son is having a heart attack. Because we can't even get ambulances to come down to our road that's not even close. Like 15 minutes, I can drive faster in my bus to get my child to the hospital. Then to have people come down there, you shut our bridge down for no reason. We just bought a brand new car. It had 0 miles on it in this short amount of time because my husband works at Reed City. He put 1,000 miles on it. We're poor. That's a lot of gas. You don't care about us. None of you do. You haven't for a long time. They vote for you. I'm not Republican, don't get me wrong. I didn't vote for any of you. I know better. Because I vote for the environment. I vote for my children. You see Children of the Corn? Let's watch that as a group. Because that's what's going to happen when our kids find out the shit you are doing to their environment. We have to do something about it. We can't just keep being like, oh, maybe this will be great. It's not going to be. We are the seat of fresh water. We are the seat of pure Michigan. and you want to just throw it all away. I don't care about the Chinese. I lived in Japan. They're cool people. They make better food than any of you. Bring them in if they want to be here. But don't bring the chemicals. Don't bring the bad stuff. Make choices. We want a nice community. You want to bring money to this community? Do it. I have a friend back here. She wanted a community garden for the people to have a community garden. We couldn't have that. I say, I have plants. I have access to all the plants that we all need in this area to have a better environment. No, not allowed. But a chemical plant, a plant that will catch on fire and then be a permanent fire source for the rest of the universe. Hey, I'm speaking.
Yes, ma'am, you're out of time.
Yes, I know I'm out of time, but you stopped looking and stopped paying attention as soon as your little dingy-dongy thingy went off. Yes, I'm out of time to speak to you guys. I'm not out of time to speak to you guys. I would appreciate if you guys want to sit here and claim to care about your community, actually care about your community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Change what is happening. Run for something. Get these guys out of our environment and make a change. I'll vote for you.
Jeffy, is it Dagger? Dagger? Yes. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I had more to say, but I'll try to make it quick. I would like this recorded in the minutes, please. And I would like everybody to hear me. I've been to I missed, I think, one meeting from Big Rapids and from Green Township meetings on Gotion. I personally requested Mr. Chapman to have something added onto the agenda. You told me no. You said it couldn't happen. I requested Mackinac Center, who is not political. It does statistics on companies and organizations that get tax grants, that get grants, get tax money, get gifts to build into areas. It does the statistics on how well they do, how they accomplish, if they met the objectives. You said no. My friend requested in writing. I personally asked you. And I said, what can I do to get them on? And you said it could only come from the state. I think that's BS. You would not allow, also, I wanted an alternative perspective on these batteries and the negative effects on the environment. You would not allow alternative professional opinion. You're taking personal opinions, but you would not let a professional come in. I think that's wrong. I think that's obstruction for these people. You sat up here and said you didn't want to answer till you had all the information. You won't even let us have an alternative input. That's not fair. That's blocking us from important information and statistics. Not political, just facts. That's wrong. We have a right to know facts. That's my problem. Thank you. We have a right
Okay, Teresa is just initials BE.
I wasn't going to talk, but you guys are kind of funny. So I just wanted to talk about your Antifa statement. Death threats are typical tactics of such groups, making a huge commotion at someone's house in order to intimidate them instead of in a public place to affect public opinion is typical of such groups. Threatening to call in our militia, in this case, the Michigan militia, is a tactic of such groups. I'd like to offer my, you're welcome for calling off the dogs, because I called them off because I didn't want them going in front of your houses to protest and cause mayhem, because that's not how we operate. But if you continue, I'm willing to bet that those people aren't going to stay away from your homes. Okay? So then, you mentioned about how OSHA won't allow for accidents to happen. Like, goggles or whatever. I'm just paraphrasing but you talked about the goggles or the blue jeans melting to the skin, whatever. You said OSHA wouldn't allow that to happen. Well, why don't you go talk to the people of East Palestine, because I bet you they have a different story for what OSHA allowed to happen to that entire community and beyond. So you also talked about, you keep repeating about outsiders, like those of us in Newaygo County grassroots, and how, are we going to help you fundraise for your schools and for your sewer issue. That's on you guys. Sewer issues are on you guys, okay? But you guys turned this into a statewide issue when you decided that it was a wise idea to use Michigan state taxes to pay for a Chinese communist company to come and buy up over 500 acres of land here. Okay, so it's a statewide issue. It's no longer just a Green Charter Township issue. Okay, and Janet Clark, I just want to, I see that beautiful necklace you have on. I assume it's like your grandkids' representation of all your little grandkids. I don't know. I imagine you spent Easter with them this past weekend and maybe did an Easter egg hunt. Is this the legacy? Is this the legacy that you want to leave for all of your little grandkids? Okay. And then, the ambassador statement was mentioned earlier. I'm just going to read a little part of it. Multiple grave national security threats and possible breaches of federal law are casting a dark cloud over the Gotion project. Michigan senators on a bipartisan basis should delay a vote until it is determined these grave threats can be resolved and vote no if, for whatever reason, a vote advances. If they do otherwise, they will be harming our national security and the security of the state of Michigan. This is you guys. This is you guys that's bringing this stuff in. U.S. intelligence agencies have warned state and local governments of the national security threat presented by such PRC-based companies and urging them not to sign any deals with them. Why is Michigan ignoring them? Why is Green Township ignoring them?
Thank you, ma'am. Amen. Amber, is it Muma? Okay, ma'am.
Like your hat.
Thank you. Good evening. I don't know if you realize it, but we are at war with China. Governor Whitmer is giving millions in incentive to the CCP for this project, and honestly, it's brilliant. The CCP is getting paid to take over the United States from the inside out. I will never stop fighting for the freedoms that I hold dear, and I would expect that you wouldn't either. If this battery plant goes through, we will have a Chinese operation right here in the heartland of Michigan. I am 100% against this. I am not okay with my grandchildren's future in a communist country. Are you okay with it when China takes over our country and your grandchildren are left with that and they have no future? You are selling your souls and selling out your constituents for personal gain. I ask the media to start digging and follow the money. There is a reason this board is not listening to their constituents' valid concerns regarding the environmental impacts and the Chinese infiltration. Where is the integrity, the accountability, and the transparency? You are a disgrace. This board is disgusting. I can't even believe that I'm standing here having to do this. I'd rather be home working on my yard. But no, I gotta be up here fighting because I don't want China in my backyard.
Amy Burdell.
I'm Amy Bordano, and I live in Green Township for 37 years. I pay my taxes here. I didn't plan on talking, but I just felt I needed to do so. I am not going to demean any of you board members. I respect you as human beings. I do not, however, respect your opinions, but I do respect you as fellow human beings. I will not be mean or nasty to you. My first question is, how is this plant going to benefit these residents? What do we get out of it? I just don't see what good things we are going to get out of this huge plant. What I do know is why we moved to the country. We love where we live. We're just off the river. It's peaceful. It's quiet. One of the things my husband and I like to do is go for walks at night. And we look at the night sky and the constellations and the planets and the stars, and we feel so lucky that we are away from a city, so the sky is dark and we get to see these beautiful constellations. I believe that that factory, if it is built, is going to be lit up like a Christmas tree. It is going to take away that joy that I get from the night sky. That is light pollution. I think there's going to be air pollution. I think there's going to be noise pollution. I believe there's going to be water pollution. There's always potential for something to go wrong, something to leak, and then we're going to have to face those problems. Somebody referenced East Palestine. Those people are in bad straits. When those chemicals burnt in their town, they cannot sell their houses. Their pets died. The fish died. We really don't want that. Nobody's talked about how huge this plant is. I've heard it's supposed to go to, 3 million square feet now? That is huge. I don't understand why it's built in want to be built in a rural area. Why isn't it built in a city that's already geared up for that? Why isn't it put in a place like Flint, who doesn't have the car stuff anymore, but they've got all these empty factories, all this brown space? I'm not sure why it should be built in a rural area. I often wonder, too, could we go to China and buy land over there and put in a big factory? I don't think that they would allow us to do so. And I want to tell you, I got to get my phone up here, but my son, who is serving his 21st year in the military, he's in the Army, and has served he's fought in Iraq. He's been deployed quite a few times. He's had some injuries, but he has been with the military his 21st year. When he found out that I was going to speak, he said, "It is no secret that Chinese strategy is that of the long game with the overall goal of the United States destabilization. The Chinese government recent actions have caused the United States military to change its training strategies to include Chinese military tactics. The Chinese strategy is similar to a snake eating its prey. It takes a while, and before the prey realizes its fate, it's too late. We cannot let Mecosta County become that unaware prey that doesn't know it's being eaten." And the last thing I have to say is this a done deal? Are we wasting our time? I don't know. I just would like to know if everybody that's speaking, is it in vain? Or is it a chance to change the course? I don't know. I don't know how far this has come. Respectfully.
Thank you. Kyle?
Thank you very much. My name's Kyle Luce. I'm the Barton Township Supervisor, which is the township just to the west of here. We border Green north to south. I spoke at a few meetings, and I appreciate your time. I'm just going to simply read this letter that Barton Township, we had a meeting tonight at 7 o'clock, which is the same time your meeting started. We were able to wrap up our business in about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and was able to get here tonight. I'm impressed by the amount of support of the folks that are here. This letter reads, to the Green Charter Township Board dated April 11th, 23, regarding the proposed Gotion project. The Barton Township Board has conducted a survey of its citizens regarding the proposed Gotion battery component plant. To date, 172 surveys were returned, with 139 or 81% urging Barton Township to fight against this project coming to our community. Therefore, we as elected representatives of Barton Township, the citizens of Barton Township, urge the Green Charter Township Board to reconsider their support for this project. Concerns of the citizens, including environmental hazards, the Chinese ownership and adherence to the CCP, the secrecy surrounding this project, the use of tax dollars for a foreign-owned company, and the loss of this small-town community that we truly love. We ask, as the Barton Township Board, ask the Board of Green Township to withdraw the support for this Gotion project. Signed, Kyle Luce, Sandra Anderson, Pam Rosendahl, David Lang, and absent John Wright. I'm turning this over for you to record in your minutes, please. Thank you, Pat. I'll donate my time back. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cal. Let's see here. Michelle Wise.
I'm Michelle Wise. I have a business and I've lived here for about 9 years. And I agree with, there was one person that said that, maybe several people that said we shouldn't be calling names and being mean. I totally agree with that. Several weeks ago, I was under a lot of stress with some people in my life that died, and I was having some heart issues, and I went on a fast, I just started fasting. I had a dream about this community. I had a dream that there was a storm, there was clouds, and there was water, like the storm was like raging like tidal waves in the town. Everybody in the town was trying to run away from the storm, but they were getting run over. They couldn't run fast enough. And in the sky, there was little like symbols, and I couldn't figure out what they were until I saw what I believe was the name Gotion. And because I don't really know how to write in Chinese, but I'm just saying that nobody should attack you. We shouldn't attack them, because there's a lot of going on that we can't see. It's way past people, you know? And I know Jesus said love your enemy, but you can still remove them. But do it lovingly. Do it like, you know? And so, and also, if they are making any decision, God puts kings in, and God can take kings out. You know, He is the ruler, not man. So, is there any faith community here? Is there any faith here? Who's here? Okay, so the scripture says that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will look from heaven and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. So it's not their fault.
Yes, it is.
It isn't, because this happened because of the other, okay?
But they didn't have to accept it.
Please let her speak. Thank you.
Okay, so there is, like, man is responsible for what they do, yes. But also the believers are supposed to humble ourselves. We're supposed to pray, maybe fast. Do you know Esther, when Esther fasted for 3 days because all of her people were going to get wiped out? Maybe the community should start fasting and praying. That's all. You know, and so good. So I just, you know what? They're responsible for their own stuff that they do, but we're responsible for our part. So that's all I had to say about that. I love that you guys are all here. This is a great opportunity for us to gather and get to know each other. It's been, in my opinion, it's been great. And I pray for you guys that what is coming down the road that you can't see, it's so much bigger than Big Rapids and Michigan and everything. It's so much bigger than that. You got WEF, you got the tyrants, you got all kinds of stuff going on that we don't know about. So it's way bigger than this.
Thank you. Robert, is it Remiga?
Pick up. Well, good evening. I'm First Lieutenant Robert Reminga, former XO at Bravo Company 2nd Battalion at Belmont Armory, and I'm also happen to be a state precinct delegate. and I'm responsible for the opinions and the well-being of 140 of my constituents a little farther south here. I also have business in the area, and I'm a Ferris grad. How about that, huh? Oh, don't hold it against me. I came here because the only thing I knew about was my good friend Randy Guppy was putting some stuff up. I heard about this on the Glenn Beck show. Imagine that. Glenn Beck? The whole eyes of this country are on this meeting tonight, on this township, because people know how brutal the Chinese communists are. My family fought Chinese communists in the Korean War. Brutal people. My cousins fought Vietnamese communists in the Vietnam War, and 2 of them were killed in action, one in '69 and one in '71. This reminds me historically, like if Adolf Hitler came to Big Rapids before we were at war with Germany and wanted to build a Messerschmitt plant out here, and everybody goes, yeah, he's a good guy, he's going to give us jobs. I'm telling you, this is a folly, and it's going to get a lot of people in trouble, because if any of you have read President Trump's executive orders, President Trump wrote some executive orders, and if you dig into them, there's a thing called colluding with the enemy. There's also a thing in our War Powers Act. If China so much as hiccups, any action over here is going to be shut down. It's going to be seized by the War Powers Act. And if anybody here has taken anything under the table, electronically transferred, Space Force has already got it. Oh, Space Force, we forgot about them, didn't we? Space Force is supposed to battle Martians, right? No, they're in the cyber warfare. I have some of my soldiers are in Space Force, and they tell me things that just amaze me. So I'm really here to support these wonderful people. I'm humbled to be here. I mean, wow, this is great. God bless America, and I'm warning you people, this is only going to get worse as time goes on for colluding with the Chinese communists. Thank you.
Okay, last name I have here is Judy Wilson. My apologies, ma'am.
Jen Speak said she wanted to say something too, and she wrote it on there. You didn't take her.
Who's that?
Maybe that was the name that Steve couldn't read earlier.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So, my name is Judy Nelson. I live in Big Rapids Township, right behind the airport. I wasn't going to speak because I'm not a Green Township resident, but I have 3 sisters that live in Green Township. One just retired here from downstate. I grew up in this community. I was born out. My parents lived on 20 Mile Road. My brother went to school with your husband. I've been here all my whole life. My biggest concern is the environment. I am concerned about the Chinese connection too, but my biggest concern is the environment. The wastewater specifically. There's actually a formula that cities and municipalities can lose water. They just lose it. They don't know where it goes. And if you go to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, there's just a short thing I want to read. There's 2 associations, the International Water Association and the American Water Works Association, have developed standard terminology and methods to assist water systems in tracking water losses in performing water audits. It goes on. I'm not going to waste my time on that. Anybody can look it up. But there's 3 types of losses: real losses, apparent losses, and non-revenue water. The one that bothers me the most is real losses. Also referred to as physical losses are actual losses of water from the system and consist of leakage from transmission and distribution mains, leakage and overflows from the water system storage tanks, and leakage from service connections up to and including the meter. I'm concerned about contamination. There's going to be losses. You're going to have contamination. I have a home I've worked hard on that I wanted someday for one of my children to have. My grandson lives with me. I'm concerned about his health. I'm concerned about my own health. Because there is going to be contamination. Minimal, what do you consider minimal? Any contamination is too much contamination. And it's going to happen. Anybody can look it up. So, and I just wanted to speak on that. I am not a resident of Green Township, but I am a member of this community. Thank you.
Did you figure out who it was that I couldn't read the name?
It was Jen.
Okay, would you like to, would you want to speak now? It's up to you.
I guess I could just say something.
Okay, if you would please, ma'am.
Yep.
Your name and address, please?
My name is Jennifer Stieg, and I'm from Hersey Township.
Okay.
I live in Hersey Township, but my home is at Majestic Frisians on 19 Mile Road. I just have kind of a statement question. We heard from an old logging resident that as soon as you become on the zoning committee, that you're going to make a special variance for him for purchasing a property, and that you would be getting a new building. Is this true? I just want to know. Would you be getting a new, with Gotion, would you be getting a new building?
That's been said a couple times, so I will go ahead and answer. Ma'am, I have no idea where that rumor is coming from. I have no idea what it's about.
Okay, thank you for answering me. I appreciate it.
All right, that is all the names. Hearing nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned, folks. Thank you.
Anything sink in? Absolutely, everybody.
What are the two things that China hates? Two things that they actually hate. God and freedom.
God bless all of you.
God bless everybody. Recall.
Hey, if anybody would like to stay, for a couple of minutes and join me in the Lord's Prayer, we'll go right ahead and do it. You know what? That's fine. Not pointing those fingers. All right? If anybody would like to join me there, we'll do that right now.